So you tend to say yes, even though you want to say no every time somebody asks for something because you don't want to disappoint them. And you think you're a nice person because you're always there for people. My darling, let me just burst your bubble. You're not a nice person, you're a people pleaser, and you really need to stop doing this, because in turn you will understand that you never really live life for yourself and you're living it for other people's constantly. So your dreams and desires are never getting fulfilled. This video is exactly for you because I'm going to teach you the art of living your own life without being rude or selfish, because your life is for you. You will regret if you never do the things you loved, and you will look back in your life and be sad because every single time you wanted to do something, you prioritize other people over your own self. Now, let's get started with this video, and I hope you all enjoy it. The first thing to do is to understand and recognize the root cause and patterns of people pleasing. Have you ever been in a scenario where you want to please others so that you don't feel bad that they're going to be disappointed, or the fact that you want to impress them or make them your friends or keep them your friends or family, so you keep people pleasing them, being nice to them even though you want to do something else or you want to prioritize something else? Yeah, that might be one of the reasons you're not happy right now. And let me just tell you how to figure out your root causes or patterns. Try questioning yourself firstly. Is it the fear of losing people? Is this the fear of abandonment? Is it the fear of missing out in life? Is it the fear of not knowing what to do if you didn't have these people around? Or is it the fear of not knowing yourself enough, that you are not comfortable spending time with yourself, that you keep people pleasing others? Now, these are many things I said right now, many types of fears and many types of feelings, and it might be hard to recognize straight away. So these are the things I would recommend to you so that you can start recognizing your patterns. These set of things, please remember your upbringing, your societal environment, your likes and dislikes, your inner self as your priority while you answer these set of exercises that I'm going to say right now for you to do in order to, for you yourself, to understand what is your pattern for people pleasing. First thing to do is to journal. And this is not any type of particular journaling. This is just taking a piece of paper and a pen and writing down the situations where you have felt that you have people pleased. You've said yes and not no when you should have said no because that's what you felt like. If it's something like you wanted to go for a dinner but your friends wanted to go and for a party and you said yes, just write down, this is the situation I said no, yes, and I should have said no, and make a list of those situations or the recent events that have happened in your life that every time you've told a yes when you should have said a no because that's what you felt like. After you've written down all these situations, question one by one these situations as to what was the trigger for you saying yes. Was it peer pressure? Was it love towards a person and the fear of disappointing them? Was it the fear of losing out because all your friends wanted to go and you didn't have any other friends and you didn't want to lose out on them spending time without you? Was it the fact that you didn't want to feel left alone in your home because you were scared of being alone as such? Write down the triggers to every time you said yes to these situations beside the situations in your notebook. That gives you an understanding, the trigger of different situations might be completely different. So write each of them clearly down with a different ink of pen, preferably, but then you understand clearly the reason is this and the scenario is this, if that makes sense. After you've written down all of these things, set that page aside and take a different page and write down your core beliefs. What are the things you institutionally believe in? Things like, do you believe in going on parties on Saturdays, or do you like spending time more having, movie nights with friends or family? Do you like cooking at home with friends, or do you not like it and you feel like it's not something you enjoy? You like going out to eat with your friends, or is it like you want to spend time reading books rather than doing any of these things? These are your core values. What do you like, believe in? What you think is right to do? Write down in a piece of papers your core values in different sectors of your life. Make it a career-wise, make it a personal-wise, and make it another-wise is educationally, as well as extracurricular activities and social life. The 5 different sectors of your life which will have different core values that you have had over the years growing up. Write these down very clearly in bullet points and try making it as precise as possible. For example, if you're talking about your career, your core values might be, I like having a proper team project rather than always working individually, because individual work and projects give me a lot of anxiety. Or it might be that I like having one-to-one check-ins with my manager or my boss every 1 week rather than a month, because the anxiety of talking to them after a month builds up, and then I'm unable to properly give feedback of my work or give a proper analysis of my growth to them, and it becomes difficult for me to communicate. Those are your core values in terms of career-wise. I just gave examples. Similarly, in social sector-wise, I do not like partying. I just don't like drinking. I prefer time having a hot cup of cocoa and watching some nice movies snuggled up in my bed, or going out to have some good dinner with my family and friends. I do not like, always having a pub or a club to go to and spend time to. Those are your values and they are nothing to be ashamed of. Write it down so that you yourself can know your values. Most of us don't even know our own values because we're so taken away with everybody else's values, and we want to be everybody else but ourselves. But trust me, if you don't know yourself, you would never be able to come out of this people-pleasing tendencies. And people-pleasing is not a good art. It just makes you feel like you're never enough because you're always living in somebody else's shadows. And trust me, I've been through those times and I never felt good about myself. I changed the way I looked, I changed the way I dressed, I changed the way I talked. I even went to a height that I changed my handwriting. But trust me, I'm sharing my vulnerable past with you because I believe you can learn from it. Learn from people's mistakes, because mistakes are really hard to recover from. Yes, they are a good lesson, but if you can learn without making them, that makes a huge advantage in your life. And that is one of the reasons I'm making this video for you, so that you don't have to go all of the hardship that I went through growing up trying to understand my own self. After understanding and writing down your core values, you should be establishing your boundaries. Your boundaries are, you now know your core values, you know your triggers and your most often scenarios that cause them, and now you can set the boundaries that will make you comfortable and take you out of this people-pleasing tendency. What are boundaries? Boundaries are your walls around yourself that keep you in a safe and comfortable position. Here, your boundary is to not always say yes when your heart says no. How do you learn to build your boundaries and establish them so that people cannot break them down? Number one thing is to know how to say the word no. N-O. These 2 letters are big significance. They are not just no, okay, maybe. No is a no, and no is a full sentence. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to make yourself say it twice. You just need to say no. But if you don't want to sound selfish or rude, the only thing you need to say is, sorry, I will be unable to do it. No, I'm unable to do it. I hope you understand that this is for my better mental health, because it is. You are your best friend and you have to prioritize yourself, your mental health. And in order to do that, you have to know how to say the word no very well. It is hard. In the beginning, you will feel they will leave you. And trust me, there have been people who have left me because I said no and I built my boundaries. I stopped people pleasing and I stopped going out every single time my so-called friends would want to go out. And when I needed them, they were nowhere to be found. I'll share a funny little story. I helped a couple of my ex-colleagues, I call now, while I came to uni for, laundry at 2 in the night. And I was very helpful because they, had to do things at uni. And the very next day, I think a day or 2 later, it was 12 in the afternoon, and I had called them up saying, hey, I need help with my laundry. And trust me, nobody was available. Nobody texted me back. And I realized it's not just about the laundry, it's just about how people use you for their own benefit. And once you learn that most people are not your friends, they're your colleagues, people you work with, people you know, acquaintances. Friend is a very big word. So learn to say no and learn to prioritize and build and establish your boundaries for your better mental health and becoming the proper controller of your own life. Well, just putting up your boundaries is not enough. Knowing how to communicate them is also a very big thing in order to take control and charge of your own life. I would recommend you all to learn how to assertively talk. Assertive talking is knowing how to use and express your opinions, your likings, and your feelings without being too rude. So try using statements with I in it, which will make it sound that it's your own issue that you're dealing with and it's nothing to do with them, but it comes across much nicer and in a much more less rude manner, I would rather say, in a very common term, in a much more sophisticated way. For example, you say, I am not available tonight due to my personal reasons. I hope you understand that, and I will get back to you whenever I am available. Let me know your other availabilities as well. It's very soft, it's a very sophisticated and compact statement. You're not disrespecting them, but you're also not disrespecting yourself. Another example of this can be that you will say, I am unavailable today due to my test that is tomorrow, and I will prioritize on my education. I hope you understand that, but thank you so much for asking me to join you. It's a very simple way of saying no, but also thanking them at the same time, which makes them understand that you have your boundaries and you're not available every single time, because then they will stop valuing you. And trust me, it's the worst feeling when you try being there for people you love and they stop valuing you because you're taken for granted because you're there every single time. So learn how to talk assertively and knowing how to use your expressive feelings and opinions in a right and kind manner. When we try to become a new self, we try bettering our life and stop people pleasing, there are going to be particular people who are going to be extremely pissed at us because they wouldn't get our advantage anymore. They wouldn't be able to use us to their benefit anymore. And one of the first things they attack is our personal acceptance. So you need to learn to accept yourself exactly the way you are, because these people will try to break your self-confidence in any possible way so that you come back to being your people pleaser like you used to be and help them whenever they need to, because they don't actually care about you. All they care about is being there for them because they don't have anybody else who's going to be there for them like that. So the first thing I'll say about accepting yourself is loving yourself. Start doing things like gratitude journaling, going for self dates, buying flowers for yourself, having a lovely little mug where you can drink your morning coffee or tea, or even drink water out of it. Just surround yourself with positivity. Don't let these negative people and these negative comments and these people trying to tear you down come near you. Accepting yourself is a very hard thing. I have dealt with my personal weight for over years now, since I was, I think, 16. 4 years now that I've been dealing with my weight issues. But I think life is never going to be fair. It's going to be hard, but learning to love yourself has made a huge difference to my life. Every single morning I write 3 things I'm grateful for, as well as I go for walks, I go to gym, I get myself a hot cup of coffee when I want to treat myself, I make myself coffee, I take myself on just window shopping because I love my own company. And that is exactly something you need to learn, because people will try to tear you down because you're not available to them anymore. As I said, building a self-image and accepting yourself is a very hard thing. Something I recommend everybody to do is join a support group or have supporting people around you. Now you would say that only people around you are these people who are trying to tear you down. I know that exact feeling. So let me tell you, there are people all over the world you might not even know who are strangers who will be kinder to you than the person you know since your childhood. So try reaching out to people all over. Follow people on Instagram who really truly make you happy. Their content just lifts you up. If it's about body positivity, do that. If it's about weight management, do that. If it's about food culture, do that. If you have anything that you feel like you want to feel better about, follow people and pages that make you feel better about that. Comment on the pages. Ask people if they want to have a group of talking about positivity about your body or your skin or your health, and if you have a particular disease, if you have a group of people who are dealing with the same disease, then you have somebody to talk about who understands you without shaming you or trying to tear you down. I remember, because I have always dealt with weight and I have always been a chubby kid, I really was called different names by people in my peer group. I was called fatty, I was called different other names in my own mother language, and I always felt sad. And then when I tried losing weight and I lost weight quite a bit, I felt like I was stagnating a little bit, and then I decided I wanted to join groups. So I joined people all over the world, Instagrams, who are dealing with the same situation, commented, and then made friends over the internet who I still now talk on and off, and we all have a beautiful conversation, because all of us don't tear ourselves down. We try to pull and bring each other up, and that's the meaning of friendship. When trying making this big change in your life, don't think it's going to come in overnight. It's going to take time. So the next thing to do is have gratitude and patience. Knowing that it is going to take time and taking baby steps every single day is a big progress. You might just think you're just getting up 1 stairs a day, but then you look back in a year and you have climbed 365 stairs and you're on a different level in your life. And it all starts with a small step. So do not get discouraged if you're unable to practice all of these tips that I told you in one go. But what I encourage you all to do is to start slow. Start by, as I said in the first, is writing down the scenarios and your triggers. That might take you a few days because it's so hard for you to really understand and reflect. But trust me, when you start doing these things slowly and you have your scenarios, triggers, your core beliefs and values, and the 5 aspects that I told you earlier in the video, as well as your self-esteem and your understanding in the wall and boundaries and knowing how to say no, you will be in a better space and you will have your control over your life. Trust me, saying no and not being available all the time does not make you a rude or bad or selfish person. It makes you a person who has enough respect for yourself as well as for the time you have in your life, and you know how to prioritize your own life over others, because it's you who are living your own life. Nobody else is ever going to achieve anything for you. Trust me. And I hope you all loved this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. This is my second video on my YouTube channel. I'm extremely new. I hope you all enjoy my content. If so, let me know in the comments down below, and press the bell button beside the subscribe button to be notified every single time I upload a new video. See you then. Bye bye.